I'm just repeating part of the yesterday's class, and then I will move on with the next paper. Yes.
So the expression above that where it is written he pays a premium phone, could you just please explain this, how we got this expression once again?
So this is your market value of the firm, which was prevailing prior to the bid, because the shareholders can anticipate that this large shareholder will invest in value improvement with this intensity. That's a probability of value improvement that will be received, right? Okay. And then with some probability, the bid will be made. And what is that probability? That probability is for all the values of Z, which is greater than ZC alpha. The probability of that is this much. Okay. And then if that those are the types of Z which are making the bid, so the shareholders will have assessment of the expected value of that Z. So expected value of Z conditional on Z is greater than equal to ZC alpha. So this gives you the market value in anticipation of a takeover. But what happens post takeover? Post takeover, the value will be what would be the value? Value will be Q plus tell me what would be the value? Q is the status quo that you have to give, okay, plus the value improvement expected value, okay. So that is Q plus expectation Z conditional on Z greater than ZC alpha. So now post takeover value minus this market value that is prevailing in anticipation of the takeover will be the premium that will be received by the shareholders when they tender their shares, right? So that gives you this expression, that this is the additional amount that is being offered over and above this market value of the firm before the takeover. Okay. So the additional amount minus this prevailing amount market value will determine the premium that the shareholders are getting due to the takeover. And that expression is given by this 1 minus I star alpha into this. Okay.
Right, got it, sir.
Okay. So now given that this particular expression is increasing in alpha, so as you know that as alpha increases from lemma 2, that your ZC alpha is decreasing, given that all other parameter values are the same. Now if that happens, then what happens? That you get a higher probability of takeover because ZC alpha is coming down. So 1 minus FZC alpha, okay, that's the probability of takeover, right? Because this is the probability that Z will be greater than ZC alpha, okay? And this is the expected value, right? Now the context I was mentioning, that even if you are adding lower values, but the average will not fall that abruptly. Okay. So as a result, as alpha increases, this value will also increase. Okay. And that would indicate about what would be the premium. Okay. So this would have implication for what would be the premium. Is it increasing or decreasing, right? So the premium will fall because this part is rising and this is your expression for premium, right? So you will have premium falling as alpha rises, okay? So in other words, if the large shareholder is holding larger proportion of the share, then it does increase the probability of takeover. but in anticipation of that, market value also adjusts. And given that market value is adjusting and your premium is over and above the market value, that premium falls as alpha rises. Okay, so that is the idea that is being talked about. So the proposition 1, an increase in the proportion of shares held by L results in decrease in the takeover premium, but an increase in the market value of the firm. Okay. Now, if you go back to the market value of the firm, okay, so then you will see that although the premium is decreasing, but given that this expression is having larger probability this particular additional thing will happen, so the market will value that the probability of takeover goes up, and as a result the corresponding I star alpha will also be affected. You have some I star alpha values also from previous the analysis. So I star alpha is increasing in alpha. So under that condition, you will find that the market value is increasing. Okay. So just connect all the algebra sequentially. You will be able to understand step by step all the statements that are being made. Okay. So clear? And also this has implication that we have taken alpha to be the large shareholders shareholding, but also this implies that even if there is nothing in the horizon in terms of the takeover bid or anything, but share prices almost always increase when a firm repurchases its own shares via tender offer. Okay, so that is going to happen because of the possibility of takeover is increasing, and that will be factored in by the market. So you know that the market is omniscient. It can see through the entire path to the future. So that helps in terms of pricing in the market, and that will be affected in this manner. An increase in the legal and administrative cost of the takeover will result in a rise in the takeover premium, but a fall in the market value of the firm. So look at the effect of CT. Now, if CT increases, you know that your ZC alpha will move towards right. Okay. So as CT increases, your takeover premium will fall because of that ZC alpha moving towards right, which means that the reduction in the possibility of takeover, okay? Sorry, the rise in the takeover premium, but a fall in the market value of the firm, because now market perceives that with lower probability takeover will happen. So if you again go back to the market value of the firm, you will know that as ZC alpha increases, this particular thing goes down. So as a result, with all these secondary effects on the average value and all, you will find that the market value of the firm is going down. Okay, but takeover premium rises. Why? Because now you can see that only the takeover is happening for higher values of Z. Okay, so that essentially improves that conditional on takeover. What would be the value of the firm? What would be the value of the shares? Okay, so that leads to increase in premium. So in other words, your alpha is very critical depending on how much is the large shareholder shareholding. It affects the possibility of takeover. It also affects the investment in the value improvement. Okay, and that accordingly has effect both on the market value as well as the post takeover price of the firm, which determines the difference determines the takeover premium. Okay, so these are all quite integrated, and you have to step by step and try to understand all these statements. Now, this is one way to take over by large shareholders simply by floating a tender offer. Okay, but there are other ways or to change the management. If management is the culprit and it is not acting in the best interest of the firm, so then there are other ways the large shareholder can mobilize support in order to dislodge or fire the manager and bring in a new management in place, which will implement the value improvement that is possible. Okay, so so the alternative is what is known as proxy fight. So imagine that large shareholder can install an efficient management via the proxy mechanism. What is the proxy mechanism? That mechanism is a voting mechanism by which shareholder, here it is mentioned, a proxy contest is a voting mechanism by which shareholder can change the firm's board of directors, which will subsequently change the management. And so to do that, you have to mobilize your shareholders, okay, at a cost, because not everybody will come on board with you. So it requires some incurring some cost in terms of convincing them and sending them letters that please vote for my chosen direct board of directors, okay, because I can promise you a better value improvement and all. So this is in a sense in the standard governing body meeting or in the standard shareholders meeting in the annual GBM. So there you can mobilize the support of the majority of the shareholders in order to bring install an efficient management. Okay, now if you do so, that CP will be the cost of proxy fight, and your own by mobilizing the shareholders to vote in favor of your agenda of installing an efficient management. So that CP is the cost, but Z is the value improvement, so you can immediately implement that Z. And alpha was your initial shareholding, so alpha Z will be your own gain by taking this responsibility of mobilizing large number of shareholders to vote in your favor so that you can take over the control. So this will be the gain from proxy fight. Now you have two options. One is you can directly make a bid for taking over, which will give you the left hand side of the expression, and you have the alternative option of moving a proxy fight against the existing management, so proxy contest, so that will lead to this much amount of payoff. Now if this is greater than this, then you will prefer to have a takeover. On the other end, if the opposite happens, you will rather prefer to have a proxy fight and then change the management in the annual general body meeting of the shareholders. Okay, so this is the idea. So there are alternative mechanisms through which the control can be taken over by the large shareholders. One is the direct takeover by offering share tender, but another one is the proxy contest, and there are various other mechanisms. So I'm not discussing all of them yet. I'm just simply comparing the two to give you the glimpses that this is how large shareholder can actually trade off different options and try to take over the control of the farm to implement the value improvement that it has got. Okay, so now with this, I'm just stopping on this paper and I will be moving on to the next paper. This paper is interesting in its own merit. It simply extends the stream of literature that Grossman Hart has talked about free rider problem. So dilution is taken to be the solution so that the value increasing takeover takes place. Then the Schleifer-Wisnik came along and said that even if free rider can be an issue, but if one of the parties can silently gather, although there are other corporate norms which prevents the trading in shares in bulk amount. So if you want to buy certain amount of shares beyond some critical value, you have to inform the regulatory body as well as the company that you are actually making those many share purchase. Okay, so the existence of large shareholder is conditional on the possibility either historically they inherit those shares or they are silently moving but this movement has within a certain time frame, if you gather some more than some critical amount, say 5% or something, depending on the country and the corporate laws are in place, you have to inform both the regulator as well as the firm that you are taking interest in this firm and gradually increasing your shareholding. Clear? So, Slifer and Bisney talked about the large shareholder is a possible way out in terms of value increasing takeover being feasible, because they can mobilize either through proxy fight or through direct takeover to bring about the value improvement. Okay, so these are the two ideas. When the shares are diffusely held, that means atomistically held by large number of shareholders, and it in a sense is very difficult for anybody to garner a large amount of shares and then institute the value improvement. So these are the two sequential things. The Grossman-Hart dilution factor is the solution for such conditions where there are plenty of shareholders, small shareholders. Slifer-Bisney solution is if there is a large shareholder, then there is a possibility. And the third one, what we are going into, that this Hart-Slifer and treatment. Now, in both Slifer-Bisney and Grossman-Hart, all the calculations are done ex ante in terms of when actually a takeover bid is floated. So in other words, before the takeover bid is made, so all the parties, they can have, based on the uncertainties and the asymmetric information, calculate their expected value in case there is a takeover bid, and then based on those values, they decide whether to tender shares or not. But given this expected value, the standard outcome of both Grossman-Hart and Slifer-Bisney is that in case you observe a takeover bid, it does not fail. In a sense that takeover bid is almost always successful, just if you go by the calculation of it. Okay. So for example, in Grossman-Hart, just by dilution, what is happening that the shareholders would be able to evaluate the two prospects. One is that if they hold on to the shares, and another is if they tender the shares, at which price they will tender. So because of that calculations, the shareholders become indifferent between the two and they tender their shares. Okay, and when they tender their shares, the takeover is successful. Similarly, in Slifer-Bisney also, they will be able to calculate this post-takeover value that is for their share and pre-takeover price that is being offered, and the pre-takeover price is exactly the same as the post-takeover value. So the shareholders are happy to tender their shares. Okay. So in other words, observed bid never fails in both these models. So the purpose of this particular Hart-Slifer and treatment, which is different from both the Grossman-Hart and Slifer-Bisney, in a way that observed bid might fail, and it does fail. Okay, so observed bid will always fail with some probability. So that is the idea that is being explored, and the point at which this particular paper is harping is that whenever the shareholders are indifferent between the two options, like tendering and not tendering, they typically tender. Okay, now this is the assumption we are making by definition of the indifferent situation. But suppose the shareholder, instead of choosing this tendering decision whenever they are indifferent, now you know that whenever you are indifferent between different strategies, and you can actually play a mixed strategy because you are indifferent. Now when you play a mixed strategy, because you are indifferent between the two options, either to hold on to the shares or tendering the shares, so when the shareholders play a mixed strategy, then there is a possibility, and that possibility is explored by Hart-Slifer and treatment, that it is possible to have a fully revealing perfect Bayesian equilibrium where the true value improvement will be revealed to the shareholders through the tender offer, and shareholders will mix in a manner that will screen different types of Z. Okay, so is the two things clear in terms of basic statement that I'm making? That in Striper business, if you look, all the Z type greater than ZC alpha, they were making a single tender price offer, and the shareholders were either accepting or rejecting, and the offer was made in a manner that they are indifferent, and our assumption was they are all accepting. Now all the Z types were making the same offer, same tender price, okay, of the shares. But if there is a mixed strategy followed by the shareholders, and the mixing probability is such that if you give me larger value, larger price of the shares, I will accept the tender, I will accept the 10 bid with higher probability. So think of a situation that higher tender price is given, is offered, and then that would imply that the bidder will know that the shareholders is following a mixed strategy such that higher tender price means with higher probability they will accept. Lower tender price means with lower probability they will accept. Now, all the types of Z, the lower Z value the large shareholder realizes, so you can call them that low type bidder. So those low type bidders knows that their probability of acceptance is low. High type bidder knows that the probability of acceptance is high. Now, given that kind of belief, the high type bidder will always try to bid high to differentiate themselves from the low type bidder. Why? Because low, if they bid low type's value, then there is a probability that it will be accepted, but that probability is small. And so for the high type bidder, it is costly to bid less by reducing the probability of success. Is it clear? So the high type bidder will be bidding high, low type bidder will be bidding low, and that will constitute a perfect Bayesian equilibrium given the strategies that the shareholders are playing. That is mixed strategy, that if you give me lower tender price, I will accept with lower probability. With higher tender price, I will accept with higher probability. Okay. So in other words, this mixed strategy of the shareholders is perfectly separating out different types of bidder in this model. Whereas in Striper business, all types of bidder were working and giving the same offer. So that was the pooling equilibrium that we were concerned about in Striper and business. But here it will be a separating equilibrium where all the types of the bidders will be separating themselves out given the strategy the shareholders will follow. Clear? Okay. So now you just read some of these introductory things which I have already mentioned. So how this will be done. So imagine the same structure. So in this structure, the large shareholder has alpha fraction, 0.5 minus alpha fraction of the shares will be needed for takeover rather than 0 to Z max. So you have now Z bar in this paper. So the highest value is Z bar and Z is distributed between 0 to Z bar. Okay. So that would be the value improvement that is possible. For simplicity, we assume that Q2 is 0. So the status quo profit that the existing manager can generate is taken to be 0. So we are only working with the value improvement part of the analysis. So this is also important that bid cannot be kind of renegotiated or repeated. So in a sense that if you make a bid, that's the final. You cannot revise the bid. Okay, so this is from the large shareholders' point of view. Otherwise, this kind of model would never have solution. It's like those how many midterms you want to take because it is infinite. That's the best possible scenario if you allow the renegotiation. And so there does not exist equilibrium in that kind of model. So only one opportunity to bid. Otherwise, this model would not have any solution. So each bidder will make only one bid, and that is final. There is no scope for revision, and the shareholders decides whether to accept or reject that bid. Okay, and here the shareholders will be following a mixed strategy between acceptance and rejection with respect to some probability. Okay, now some of the basic algebra. Let X be the amount of per share bid, and omega be the fraction of the outstanding share for which he bids. Okay, and alpha is its own holding. So now, rather than saying that omega is 0.5 minus alpha in the beginning, this will establish and prove at the end that optimal omega in this particular model will be exactly 0.5 minus alpha. Okay, so they will not, even if they have the scope of bidding for more shares, they will not. Okay, and as usual, I have said that these are conditional bidding. So essentially, you do not accept any shares until unless you get your requisite amount of shares in the company. Okay, so you turn back all the shares to the shareholders. So now, probability that at least omega shares are tendered to a potential acquirer who bids X and begins with an initial shareholding of alpha in the target. So this is the probability schedule that is being defined. Now, how the probability schedule will look like, we will derive that. Okay, so we are assuming that this is the probability that at least omega shares are tendered. So which means I have told you that the shareholders are following the mixed strategy. So there is no guarantee that everybody's shareholding strategies of the probability would necessarily lead to omega amount of shares being tendered. So this is the probability that at least omega amount of shares will be tendered. Okay, so there is no guarantee that omega amount of shares will be tendered. Okay, and C be the cost of making the bid, and C is known to the bidder. So what is the point of asymmetry of information? It is only about the Z value. So that the amount of value improvement that is possible by the shareholders. Sorry, that is possible by the large shareholders to bring about in the company. Okay. So now we propose an equilibrium in which the potential acquirers, the large shareholders, if he chooses to bid, makes an offer for exactly this shares independent of the level of Z. If a bid is made, the level of the bid is chosen to maximize his expected gain. So this is what we are going to prove. Okay, so this particular thing, it's not that it is already established. So we will be proving that, but we are focusing on that equilibrium from the beginning, because you see, if you do not have any foresight about what could constitute an equilibrium in the model of game theory, you will be always going on the wrong track, because the logic follows that you have to use some bit of intuition in terms of gathering in terms of clinching the issue in terms of an equilibrium. So now I know that there is a probability schedule. Okay, so this is my probability schedule of getting omega amount of shares. If I get omega amount of shares and my value improvement is Z and I'm offering X, so Z minus X is the amount that I can enjoy on that omega amount of shares that will be tendered. Okay, and I have my initial holding alpha. So alpha into Z plus Z minus X omega is the additional value that I will be able to enjoy, provided that omega amount of shares are tendered and I am able to bring about the value improvement in the company. Okay, but this will happen with probability P. So this is my expected value, expected gain when I make a bid of X, okay, for omega amount of shares. And minus C is the cost of taking over. So this is my expected gain, okay, net of cost. We are assuming that the probability schedule P X alpha omega is twice differentiable. Okay, so basically both P dash and P double dash exist. So we are trying to trying to develop a probability schedule so that it is continuously differentiable, okay, until second order differentiation. So now we are trying to maximize this expected gain by a choice of X. When we do so, we will be getting this as the first order condition. Okay. If you are not convinced, try to convince yourself. So this is by product rule. You are making the differentiation of this.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, why we are taking that P is twice differentiable?
Because we are trying to construct an equilibrium with such a probability schedule. Okay. If you see, all strategies are never part of the equilibrium. You can always think of thousands of strategies like step function also, huh? But those will not constitute the equilibrium. We are trying to construct an equilibrium where the equilibrium will be fully revealing in terms of the value improvement through the message that is being sent in terms of the share price X. Okay, so we are trying to construct as an equilibrium. So that's why we need to take, you see, you can think of 1,000 possibilities. There are feasible strategies, but they will not constitute an equilibrium. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are trying to discover that probability schedule. Here we are trying to develop that probability schedule so that if the shareholders follow that probability schedule, we have a fully revealing perfect Bayesian equilibrium where X will actually be a perfectly revealing message that X equal to Z. So if you have a Z which is greater than ZC alpha, so that Z will be exactly, so the amount of share price that you offer for this tender is X, and that will be exactly equal to Z. Okay, so that we are trying to construct. So that's why we are trying to discover a probability schedule that could there exist such a probability schedule which is followed by. So this is essentially the strategy of the shareholders that we are trying to discover, that can there exist a strategy of the shareholder so that we can construct a fully revealing equilibrium. Is it clear? Okay. So now
Yes.
first order condition. Now you can also get the second order condition like this, otherwise this expected gain is not maximized. So this is the second order condition that should also hold based on the probability schedule. Okay. So now this is our proposition, and which we will be trying to develop step by step. If the probability of success is strictly increasing in the level of the bid, then the optimal XZ is strictly increasing function of the improvement Z. Okay. So this is very easy to foresee, because that if Px alpha omega is increasing in X, then the people with higher Z would like to bid higher X for the shares. Okay, why? Because there is this trade-off that if they have the option of even bidding low, but if they bid low, then the probability schedule will tell you that there is a lower chance of shareholders tendering the requisite amount of omega shares. So that's a cost the shareholder is facing. The cost in a sense that there is a lower probability of acceptance. So in order to maximize their gain, there will be xz function which will be increasing with respect to z. Clear? So now, if such a schedule exists, okay, that x z is an increasing function, given that p is an increasing function, and there is a trade-off in terms of lower success being, it is more costly for the high value bidder, because high value bidder wants to take over and that's beneficial for them, and they would not take a chance in terms of lower probability of expected acceptance, because although they can make higher gain if it is accepted, but they have a lower probability of acceptance, so they will optimize accordingly, and that's why your xz will be an increasing function. Now we are focusing on a fully revealing equilibrium. Okay, and that fully revealing equilibrium means that could there exist an equilibrium such that the large shareholder bid exactly equal to the value improvement Z and take over the firm. Okay, so that's the purpose we are following. So which would mean that the inference will be for the shareholders that this is a fully revealing bid that is being made. So immediately after observing X, the shareholders will be convinced that it is Z value that will be the final improvement. And if that happens, so then accordingly they will tender their shares, and that will determine that what sort of probability schedule they should follow. So coming back to the expression, if my X is equal to Z, in the first order condition, I will be able to take minus P omega to the right hand side, Z equal to X, so this will cancel out. So you will get P dash by P equal to omega by alpha X. So this is directly derived from first order condition given by 2. Okay, so P dash by P should be equal to omega by alpha X. So if I have such an equilibrium where the bids are fully revealing in terms of the value improvement, that is X equal to Z, okay, and then if that happens, the shareholders are rational players, they will be able to foresee this and accordingly infer correctly that after observing X, what would be the Z hat? Z hat X will be equal to exactly X. So essentially they are convinced that the fully revealing strategy is being played. So that will give this kind of expression. Okay. Now we'll try to derive the probability schedule, that can there exist a probability schedule such that we get this kind of thing happening. So now I will be simply taking the integration both sides. Okay, I will take the integration both sides with dx. Okay, and then I will be able to get this as the solution. Okay, now this as the solution, and when I have this solution, I also have another interesting observation to determine this k, which is the constant of integration, that when the z is equal to z bar, then the probability schedule should be such that if the highest value is offered to the shareholders, and shareholders, of course, they have begun with some expectation, they know the distribution fz, which is support 0 to z bar, and then pz bar must be equal to 1. Okay, so in other words, if the highest value that is possible under the sun that is being offered to the shareholders is going to tender their shares with certainty. Okay, now if that happens, then I will be using my x equal to z bar, and then I will be using my probability as 1, and that will determine my k. If I determine that k, then my solution that I have generated with constant of integration, now with the substitution of that value of k, I will have my equation 5, which is the solution. Okay, so this is the probability schedule which gives me that probability x alpha omega is x by z bar to the power omega by alpha. Okay, so this applies when the expected net profit from bidding is positive. Okay, because otherwise, if it is not positive, then obviously the bidder, after observing their own jet, will not ever try to make the bid. Okay, because what is the point of making the bid? Because C is the cost of takeover that is there, and the overall the payoff is negative. So this expression has to be positive. So this gives me that what kind of value of Z I need in order to get my bidding profitable. So I will be
Sir,
Yes,
So why exactly are we replacing that value of k for which probability is 1?
because you know the how to solve the differential equation, right? When you solve the differential equation, you apply some integration and then you, here it is the simplest possible thing. So I have just integrated it. Now once I have integration, the solution will give the constant of integration in the solution, right? True or false? I'm trying to remember my own
Right, right.
high school mathematics. Okay. Now, if I have that, this k is constant of integration, but in every possible equation setting, that constant cannot be arbitrary, right? That constant also needs to be determined in the context. Now, here the context is that I have a condition like terminal condition. You can say that if the highest value is offered, then I can safely assume that everybody will accept that. Okay, so that will fix my probability schedule. So that is the purpose of doing it. So once I have that, so this is the expected gain, and this expected gain must be positive. And when that expected gain will be positive, so that will give plenty of conditions from this particular condition. So this will tell me that what should be my ZC alpha. This will also tell me what is the minimum amount of alpha in terms of other parameters so that this particular expression is positive. So I will be basically playing with this particular expression to be positive and determine different conditions for which this is possible. So here a minimum value of alpha consistent with profitable bidding. Okay, so this alpha star has to be equal to this, otherwise it is not going to be positive. Okay, so what is the minimum value of alpha? Minimum value of alpha, that with the highest possible value realization you should be able to bid, okay, given the cost. So that from that particular equation I will get minimum amount of alpha star as this. I will also get what is my ZC in terms of other parameters, so that for all the Z greater than ZC, okay, I will be able to get that thing positive. Okay, so this ZC is determined by making that x equal to Z such that this particular expression is 0. Okay, so that gives me my ZC. Okay, so then finally what would be my probability? My probability of takeover is x by Z bar omega by alpha, and the x will belong between ZC and Z bar. So this will be the tender price that will be offered. Okay, and how much price or how much shares I should buy as the raider. Look, my purpose is to maximize my probability of acceptance. Now you can see that this is a fraction. X is lower than Z bar. Okay, except at x equal to Z bar, this is a fraction. So this fraction, I want to have a greater value of the fraction. So my omega should be minimized. So my omega should be exactly what is needed to take over and control the management. So that omega will be 0.5 minus alpha share. So each of the bidder will be bidding exactly 0.5 minus alpha shares. Okay, when I say each of the bidder, I'm saying each type of the bidder. So now I have so many types of the bidder, all Z greater than ZC but below Z bar. Below means weekly below Z bar, including Z bar. So these are the types of the bidders. They are making their fully revealing bid in terms of x equal to Z. Okay, so this is a kind of what is also known as truth telling equilibrium. So full revelation is happening, and then the types of the types are sending messages which is telling the truth about their true private information. Okay, so this gives you the separating equilibrium, where each type is sending a different message which is fully revealing according to the probability that is being pursued, the probability of acceptance that is being pursued by the shareholders. So we have this particular equilibrium, and in this context you can easily see that given that shareholders are in aggregate pursuing this probability schedule, that means with 1 minus P probability, the omega amount of shares cannot be garnered. So which means that even if you observe a bid, but with some probability it will fail, because there is a lot of uncertainty in this kind of bidding. So in the empirical context, it is always observed that there are plenty of situations where there are bids, but finally they did not garner the number of shares that is required. So this model in particular rationalize that particular aspect, okay, that observed bids do fail, okay, and there are situations that takeover only takes place probabilistically, okay. But if you believe in only Grossman-Hart and Schleifer-Wissner, you do not get this kind of situation. There, whenever you observe a bid, it is based on full calculations, and given the shareholders tendering strategy, that is in case of indifference they tender, so you will always find that observed bid means it is successful. But in reality this doesn't happen. This particular paper is an attempt to rationalize that behavior that is observed in reality, okay. Now there can be plenty of other reasons for why observed bid fails, but this particular model gives you one such story, okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, like the bid who bid highest will get the like shares, remaining share. So may it be the case that two bidders like have same jet highest, so have to bid same amount, like so how that bid will take place in this
So
model?
So whenever we have type space, okay, so type space has a distribution over the types, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then we are not counting in that continuous space that how many bidders are sitting at Z bar, how many bidders are sitting as Z bar minus epsilon point. Okay, because we are working with that there exists a continuous distribution on the type space. And we are simply saying that in that sense, all types having a value Z, okay, will all bid X equal to Z. All the types having a value Z bar will bid X equal to Z bar. Okay, so we are not counting them in any manner.
Oh,
So we are thinking in terms of that if they have different Z values, they are different types. That's it. Clear?
yes, sir.
Okay. So here the way this equilibrium is constructed, that Z bar type would not have any incentive to mimic any of the other Z belonging to ZC alpha and Z bar. Okay, except Z bar would not like to mimic anybody. Why? Because as soon as they mimic say Z bar minus epsilon type, their probability of acceptance goes down, and that's a cost imposed on them that they cannot successfully take over the farm to realize the value on their own alpha shares. Clear? Similarly, the Z bar minus epsilon type would not have any incentive to mimic Z bar minus 2 epsilon type. Okay, assuming that they all belong to the above ZC alpha. Okay, because the Z bar minus 2 epsilon type has the lower probability of acceptance than Z bar minus epsilon type. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's how the separation is taking place in this model. So now there are few implications, and they are worth reading and important. The probability of an offer success increases with the bid premium and with the initial holding of the bidders in the target. So if you go back to the same expression, as alpha goes up, the probability of success goes up. Okay, and it is decreasing in the number of shares required to obtain control. Okay. So it is the 0.5 minus alpha is the last part of the sentence that is referring to. So that's one important implication. Implication two, the ratio of stock price reaction at the announcement of the bid to the bid premium is increasing in both the level of the bid and the initial shareholdings of the bidder, and it is decreasing in the number of shares required to obtain control. This is again following from the same the mathematics, and you just step by step try to interpret that. It is also the interest to examine the effect of varying parameters on ZC. This leads to the following prediction. So if ZC changes, the average bid premium declines with the size of the bidder's initial holding in the target and increases with the number of shares needed to obtain control. So again, these are the alpha related comparative statics, okay? Because how the range of ZC alpha is changing, and that. Activities that reduce the degree of asymmetry of information between the bidder and the shareholders, such as the payment of solicitation fee to persuade the shareholders to tender, are predicted to increase the probability of offer of success. So this is essentially a general kind of situation that this bid is fully revealing, but if there are other ways to convince, then that is also helpful. Because the main point of divergence between the two sides are that there is asymmetry of information. Bidders know the true valuation, shareholders don't. Okay, so that's how it is happening. So until this point, you just read and then convince yourself about all the things that you are learning. Okay, so many of you are not reading the so anything that you have so far in terms of questions?
No, sir.